This enchanted lullaby.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is, and each person should find that truth out for his or herself.
This enchanted lullaby. This enchanted lullaby.
You know what? Global family, look in the mirror. I want you to take a good look. You are the champion, the hero of your story. No matter how much praise you may give some of us who may help you on this journey, it is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Tony, again, I give you accolades for, I don't even know what to say, for all the efforts, man, that you put in my behalf.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is.
It is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Person should find that truth out for his or herself.
To help you see.
For his or herself.
All right. Greetings, everyone. Here we are on today, Sunday, February 13th, which happens to be the Grand Master's born day. So today is going to be a little bit different format. And so I've been thinking about this since like January, like, okay, since most people are virtually, like what it would be something to give that impact. And typically, especially amongst people love stories, right? So we're going to spend some time today. There's also going to be a raffle. Yeah, add that in there, but that's toward the end. But we're going to spend some time today telling stories of not only how you came across Dr. Delbert Blair, whether it be virtually, which most people probably have that way, or because you met him in person, whenever that was, and how things have been since then. Have you continued your journey, and so on and so forth. So that's the main premise of today's call. So I'll of course start it off, and we will just as people come in, you can hit 1 on your keypad if you're on your phone. Then you can unmute yourself that way. And those who are in Zoom could just hit the unmute button at that point. All right. And it'll be first come or first speak, first able to say, right? And so that's the premise that we're going over. It just showed today, it'll probably go for about an hour and a half or so. And toward the end of the show, we're going to do a raffle. I'm going to be asking some very specific questions for those who have been paying attention to Dr. Dilbert Blair, the Grand Master, and his teachings. And so we did a raffle on a call about a week ago. And I thought that it was going to be pretty simple to weed out certain people to get to that last person who will be the winner. And it was actually much more difficult than I thought. Okay, so I have a list of questions here. Some of them may be a little simple. Some of them do get pretty difficult and you really had to be paying attention. So hopefully it won't go as long as it did on that particular call. So, all right. So I'll start off here. But actually, let's see something. I want you to reading something as well. But I will just get into it for now. So many of you probably heard this story. But if you haven't, so you can hear it now. So, how did I personally come across Dr. Delbert Blair, the Grand Master? So, this is, of course, at this point, because the Grand Master ascended about 6 years ago now. It's kind of interesting that that amount of time has passed. It doesn't seem like it's been that amount of time, So we're getting closer to a decade soon, right? So, um, I was going through, as many of us do, right? The many at that time of the conscious community scholars, whether they're metaphysicians, whether into health and wellness, whether they were into purely history. Ben's watching all these different people, right? And so I was wondering to myself, like, why are all these people like everywhere but here? Chicago, of course, is a huge city, one of the biggest cities in the world. Most of the tribal leaders, in the form of even certain good or not so good entities, like the majority of them came from here, and then their philosophies went elsewhere. If you didn't know, all right. So Chicago is probably more than any other city. Major amounts of leaders have come out of Chicago versus most places in the world. It's actually quite strange, actually, very strange. But that's a story for another day. So I was wondering why all these people are everywhere else but here, right? And so as I was going along, looking at all these conscious, I used to buy these conscious DVDs at this place here in Chicago. And so looking at, of course, the Amos Wilsons, the John Henrik Clarks, Ben Yakinans, Dr. Africa's, I mean, it goes on and on and on. Steve Coakley, he's from Chicago though, but Steve Coakley, um, and just go on many other people, right? And so I end up coming across the Grandmaster, Dr. Dilbert Blair. And I'm like, so of course, like most people say the same thing when they come across him. You just pretty much get stuck, right? He's hitting you with these thought forms, and it has you captivated. It has you looking at reality differently, right? And so I said, man, I said, this dude is out the box. You get what I'm saying? So, of course, been watching him for a while. And then I said, let me see something, because none of his videos that I was watching at that time, it really shared where he was from. And then I came across one video that said, yeah, the Meta Center in Chicago. I said, Chicago? What? So I started to Google, started to um, even look in these other directions, and I could not find his phone number, could not find exactly where he was. And then, of course, the way it works, because we're here today, right? Ended up finding a phone number to him. And so I ended up calling, and then I called again and again, many times, right? And it kept ringing at times, going to his voicemail. And then one of the times he picked up the phone, and he answered the way that he answered. And of course, I was taken back for a moment. And I said, hey, in short, after that greeting, can I come by, maybe get some products? You always talking about a certain product or two, and so on and so forth, and just meet him overall, right? So we end up scheduling some time, end up going to the Grandmaster's place, and this was going to blow some of you all's minds. So I'll get to that in a moment. At that time, when I was looking in front of the Grandmaster, right, something hit me like out of left field, as they say, right, and it pushed me to say to him, "You don't know me, but I'm here and I'm going to help you out." Okay, and of course, obviously, many of you know I have done that literally from that day until then, and then after, right? So, but this is the very fascinating point. It's not even the fact that after that was said, I was by Dr. Blair's side from that point into the time he ascended, and we are here still today, right? Even though that in itself a positive thing, what was very interesting to me anyway was the fact that he lived right down the street from me, literally, like less than maybe 3-4 minutes away. That's very strange, right? It's like, what, at all times? So anyways, I still be thinking about that to this day, because it was just out the box. All right, clearly I could just go outside and kind of just walk down the street and there he was. Okay. So, so of course, from that point to now, what's been going on? Obviously, many of you all know, right? To that, from that point to now, we've been traveling all over the world. We've been doing all types of experiments, and of course, most importantly, we still are here serving the community with their health, wellness, metaphysical needs, interesting situations, not so interesting situations, and everything and anything in between. So, what can be said about that? So, I'm glad for those who are present here currently, and that's it for me. Okay, that's it for me for now. So, does anyone would like to share? So, I will ideally share how did you come across the Grandmaster, Dr. Dilla Blair, and how has your journey been since that time? It's first come, first serve. So, whoever unmutes their phone.
Okay, I'm unmuted. I think I'm unmuted. You hear me, Tony?
Yep, I can hear you, Daryl. How you doing?
All right. I'm doing all right, man. How's it going? Yeah,
Everything's
that's
good. Hmm.
all right. I'm Jeremy McDonald calling from Kansas City, Missouri. If y'all don't know, in the beginning when we start here, Dr. Blair would say, "State your name and where you from, please,"
Yep, most definitely, 100%. Yep.
because he wanted to know. I knew what he was doing, but I would do. But he wanted to project himself to you. He would wanted to know where you was at so he can bring himself to you. He wasn't gonna just talk to you through the phone. Uh, that's when I knew that he was a grandmaster and he was magical too. That story, Tony, was good. That is amazing. You end up living right down the street from him. That's mind-boggling to me. Um, I don't. I truly, honestly, don't remember how I got with Dr. Blair. I don't know. I know it wasn't on YouTube videos because I remember I was already listening to the podcast on the Saturdays, and I found out that he had YouTube videos, and I went back and started catching up. But I was same thing in this conscious journey for a long time, and I had started to see that this thing was became a loop. The conscious community, so far the information, it started to repeat itself, just like with all the greats, what I'm saying, and all the scholars. I seen that we had reached the peak, and I got lost, and I started throwing the towel on this conscious thing because I was like, well, I guess that was it. Then Dr. Blair came into my life, and I started listening to Dr. Blair, and he started to elevate those texts and those lessons and those history things that had stopped. What I'm trying to say, that had no peak. He was able to continue on. And not only that, I had questions myself, even though, was learning the things about our history and about knowledge itself. I still had questions that still just wasn't answering, and wasn't nobody in the conscious community answering them. It was back to the same old loop. Dr. Blair would answer those questions just listening to the podcast, and they would get answered. Then I would start to call in and ask him these very deep questions that I had slept on, meditated on, and he would answer them. And I got clarity, um, and I got hyped up again about knowledge and learning stuff and trying to find out who I was as a person, as a spiritual being, and everything. And ever since then, Dr. Blair, my life changed. I enrolled myself into school, and I went to got my degree for human biology. But the thing, what pushed that through is what Dr. Blair would always talk about, the mitochondria. He was talking about mitochondrial DNA. This mitochondrial DNA, and the very first class I got was a biology class, and I be damned. And in this damn biology class in this European system, the main focus that they was on was this mitochondria. And I hit the roof. And I was like, that's what Dr. Blair already what? And I knew then that I was there to learn this thing about human biology and about the human body for a very different reason. I knew Dr. Blair's spirit, soul, whatever, had guided and placed me here so I can focus because I was into yoga and the arts and all that stuff. And it elevated that consciousness away from this mainstream yoga that they're doing now and meditation and all that stuff. I was able to actually learn the clinical aspect of these things that are literally happening in our body. And ever since then, it's been up. I was there when Tony first came in, and I always I seen elevation from Tony to now. For myself, I knew Tony who he was to help Dr. Blair, because Dr. Blair and Tony, you used to be so funny with them, if y'all know, on the shows, and calling in. I just can't explain it, but Tony know what I'm saying, and I knew that I was on a energy wavelength that I needed to stay on it because it elevated me, and it still has been elevating me, and I'm glad I met Dr. Blair. That's my peace, peace and love. Thank you.
There it is, Daryl. Appreciate you sharing. That was wonderful. And most definitely, many callers here, especially those who have been listening for a long time, do recall Daryl called in, and he would say exactly what he just said. Daryl McDonald from Kansas City, Missouri. Okay, and so it's very interesting how time moves on, and then the many years go past, and you hear these voices that you have been corresponding with, and this is all very fascinating time. So, who's next? Who's next? Just unmute your phone. First come, first serve. If you are on a actual phone and not Zoom, you can hit 1 to unmute. Whoever speaks first is the one who goes. Again, the questions are: when did you come across Dr. Blair, and how has the journey been since then?
Okay, I'll go. Hello?
Yep. There you
Black
are.
Black Sparson. I'm from Sacramento, California.
There it is.
When did I come across Dr. Blair? It's kind of hard to put, a finger on that date, but his face and his lectures are sort of in that pantheon that we all have of all the greats of that time. So I probably put a date on it, maybe I don't know, 2000, maybe 99, something like that, maybe something like that. But like the brother said earlier, when I first came across Dr. Blair, I was a little taken aback. I was familiar with some things. I spent a lot of time. I was fortunate enough to spend a lot of time with Neely Fuller personally, so that helped me out a great deal. And of course, I was doing my own research and study. So white supremacy as a system wasn't something that would have jaded me or thrown me through a loop. But when he, brought in these other element, particularly having to do with UFOs, it was just something that I just hadn't have any place for. So I just sat it aside, didn't deal with it. It was like, okay. And it's just, as recently in the light, probably since about 2017, and I think we've all seen, how they've been trying to force feed this subject down our throats. It kind of forced me to jump back into it. And when I did, and I didn't plan it this way, just through my own research and drawing my own conclusions, I ran into Delbert Blair. And I ran into him, and this is, why I'm so thankful is, that story that he told about meeting George Adamski in Chicago. It's probably, as far as ufology goes and Black people, it's probably one of the most significant stories. It's not talked about. A lot of people don't know, who he was and how significant Adamski was in the whole movement. But for Mr. Adamski to be rubbing shoulders with Delbert Blair early on is just very interesting footnote in history. I did not know that today was his birthday. How did I end up here? One of my followers on Twitter posted something about Space Brothers, and George Adamski. So I followed up the tweet with some of what I just explained about his meeting with George Adamski in the past. And one of my followers said, well, I didn't know that. So I had to go and find the tape of Dr. Blair talking about this, and I couldn't find it. It took me like 2 hours to find the tape. And by the time I found the tape, they sent it to the person. Sure enough, I got on YouTube and I found out that this meeting was happening today, and that today was also his birthday. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to, just give a heartfelt thanks to Delbert Blair for all his courageous, tenacious, and tireless giving. I'm thankful for Dr. Blair for staying on his path over the years in spite of all the naysayers or any detractors. He was always the consummate professional. I've eyewitnessed Blair handle all of his lectures with skill, care, respect of a university-trained professor, minus the miseducation and exorbitant fees. More than anything, I'm grateful for Dr. Blair for his candid account of what happened in that lecture hall. The UFO topic may be very unpopular issue overall. It may be popular overall today in society, but I think it's safe to say that it's still pretty much a taboo or a non-starter within the Black community itself. But, Dr. Blair's contribution, gives me the courage to continue writing and researching myself. And without his contributions, I'm afraid I probably feel as alone as he did going to see George Adamski that night in Chicago all those years ago. So peace to Dr. Blair. Love him, miss him, and we appreciate him. Thank you for giving me a chance to say
that. There it is. Kind words, and there's no coincidence at all, right? So the whole story, you went through that whole journey, but when you're on the call right now, okay, so absolutely wonderful. Appreciate the presence, and I'm sure throughout all space and time, the Grand Master appreciates what you have stated. Okay, and so thank you very much. So next caller, first come, first speak. Maurice, it looks like you have something to say? Or no?
Actually, I'm here on accident. I'll speak a little later.
Oh, okay. All right. Don't be scared now.
Greetings, Tony. I'll speak for a moment if I can.
Yep. There you go. So Mike has the floor.
My journey with Dr. Blair was probably a bit different than most, as in I came in, let's say, after he had already departed. And at that time, I was just, let's say, waking up. And when I came across him, I was like, oh my goodness, what in the world is this man speaking about? I said, he's more lost than I am. And then I left, and then I circled back once I picked up a key, I guess, I'll call it I'll just call it a key, just what I called it, that I was missing beforehand. And that maybe perhaps future endeavors with maybe some newer people that starting out, that they may need this. And the fact that at that time, I wasn't quite up to speed of what exactly truth was. Obviously, that's the whole point. So what I mean by that is what the knowledge that he was speaking out, it was true, but not in the context that I could understand it. Meaning my brain basically wasn't prepared for it to hear it. I'd listen and it would completely shake my head. I was like, I don't know what this guy, he's dreaming. And that's the key part that I was missing, is just how powerful we are as individuals. That, what he was referring to, in a sense, is somebody else's dream that has manifested out and has went crazy. But the key point that I wanted to say is I was missing that we've created all of this. Some part of us has created the nonsense and the craziness that I was trying to shake off, and I had to shake it all off before I could understand Dr. Blair. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
No, that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. People's journeys are from all over the place, right? You know, we all come from our own spaces for our own reasons, in our maybe on different levels, obviously different mindsets, and yeah. So next, who's next here? Who's next? Okay, it looks like Belinda, and then it will be Randy. Belinda, then Randy.
Hi, this is Belinda, currently in Virginia. And I came across Dr. Blair. Thank you for the platform and the opportunity just to say a couple of words about him. I came across him just actually searching. I've been searching and searching and looking for different things and reading all types of things on the internet, sort of in that esoteric area, just trying to find across, looking for something, not knowing exactly what. And I heard his name come up in a podcast I was listening to. They called it a video or something. It wasn't podcast back then, and I wrote it down, and I decided to go on YouTube and look it up. And I came across a lecture he did with, I cannot remember the gentleman's name, but it was some guy. The name escapes me right now, but I listened to it and it drew me in so much. I started looking at every single Delbert Blair video that I could find, because his voice and what he was stating it just resonated so much that it just drew me in. And then of course I went on the website, looking at things there and looking at little clips and all of the products and things that he had out there. And I bought a Brazilian crystal with the diode thing on it. And I didn't know what a diode was. And of course, I'm looking at it and listening to his lectures about it and all that. And he just engulfed me in his knowledge and the things that he expressed. And then I realized his birthday was the same as mine. My birthday is the 12th, his was the 13th, and that even made it even more, ecstatic. I was like, wow, I'm really, this is like a kindred spirit, so to say. And when he transitioned, I really didn't know what to do, because I didn't know what was going to happen to what was going on. And then Tony came up, and I was like, who is Tony? I really was not, it didn't resonate with me, the connection you had with him. And so for a while, I just dropped off. I just was like, well, he can't be the same as Delbert Blair. He doesn't have the same, he doesn't know as much, all of that. But I didn't know your background. So I kind of just drifted away. And then eventually I'd go back on the website, look up some more stuff, and just gravitated back to you all. And I'm just grateful to be back. And I enjoy you all so much. I enjoy all the things that he's left behind. I bought the books and all of that stuff. And he was just a great master teacher. And I so appreciate him. And I appreciate you as well, Tony, for the mantle that he has given you as well. Thank you.
Appreciate you, and thank you for sharing, and thank you for being present. Most definitely wonderful. All right, so after Belinda, it was Randy.
Peace, family. It's Randy. Calling out of Hartford, Connecticut. I came across Dr. Blair. I think it was around 2012. Similar to Tony, I was just listening to all the conscious guys, the Bobby Hemmett's, Dr. Africa. Was probably, he was really funny because he had a lot of comedy in his knowledge. And Brother Freeman now. And with these guys, I was looking for information minus like the religious stuff, because there was a lot of it was like the Nation of Islam, and everybody had these Hebrew Israelites and all these things. So I was looking for information that was resonating with me, just stuff that was way out, because my mind was like way out. But as a child, I was kind of finding myself, and coming across Dr. Blair. I think it was like the Man, Woman, and Child lecture. That was the first one I came across, and yeah, I started binge watching Dr. Blair since that time. He spoke about diodes. I was into making orgone pyramids at the time, and it was like, man, we were like the same person. I was like a younger version of this guy. I saw myself in Dr. Blair, and he was like, you know, Windex on a foggy mirror. And since that time, I've been just observing for a while, because when he transitioned, I really didn't know the medicine was still around. You know, I was just observing. I was listening to Tony for a while before I even made it known that I was watching. So, and I realized that Tony was a great guy and was doing this thing in the name of Dr. Blair, and I really appreciate what you're doing, brother. And yeah, Dr. Blair, Dr. Blair's definitely created a platform for my mind to flourish in the knowledge and awareness of self. And that's all I have to say. Peace and love.
Appreciate you sharing. Most definitely, I'm sure with everybody here who has spoken so far and given their journey and what brought them to even to know Dr. Blair and to listen to Dr. Blair and still here today, I'm sure others here are also resonating with these different stories as their story may be similar. Okay, so I appreciate everyone who is, um, brave enough to say a few words. So, who's next? Who's next? Either unmute your Zoom side if you're on the phone. If you would like to say something, then unmute your phone. Okay, we got Siobhan. The
Hi,
floor is yours.
Tony. Hi,
Greetings.
Tony. It's Siobhan calling from California. So, I was first introduced to Dr. Blair actually from my brother. It was about 6 years ago. He had given me, a couple names of um, men in the conscious community, and Dr. Blair was one of them. And then I remember, going to YouTube and like listening to him. And I remember like once I heard him speak, it's like something in my soul just knew it was like truth. So ever since then, I've just been, searching for his videos and then, listening to all his blog talks. And then I remember the day he like introduced you to us. And I was like, and I knew like once I would hear you on his shows, I was like, oh, you know, everything's going to be fine. And since then, I've just dived in, I would say deeper. And I'm always like forever thankful because since I, found Dr. Blair, and been involved with the Meta Center, I've had nothing but blessings in my life. Um, so, um, I'm always thankful for that. And also, like, I have, whenever I want to like meditate or um, just gain clarity. I have an altar, in my home. And, it's basically like, all the men that I've loved, that I love, and they've, impacted my life in some way. So I have my dad, I have my grandpa, and then, I have Dr. Blair. So, you know, I'm super thankful for him and everything that you've done for the Meta Center and all of us. That's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you for sharing. Um, so as you all see, people are from all over the country, which we already knew this. I'm sure you knew it as well. But people are not only all over the country, all over the world. Okay, who we still get calls in to this day, not only from people who are just finding out about the Grandmaster, but from people who have been paying attention and watching the material and commenting in the comments and everything else from the UK, Zimbabwe, Senegal, um, I mean, South America, includes Brazil, of course, Costa Rica, many of the islands. I mean, literally all across the world. So, this is why we do what we do. It's a very this metaphysical place that has been constructed with the consciousness of those who want a certain type of truth, okay, peering through the reality which has been coined into the meta center. Just what goes on energetically. I'm trying to really put it into words I could put here on this public podcast here. I would just say that we appreciate all of you all who are putting out those positive thought forms. Because without you, we wouldn't even be here to this day. So it is very much appreciated. This is very interesting. I'm enjoying hearing you all stories as well, just so you know this. All right, next caller here already is Miguel. You can unmute your phone. Appreciate your presence.
Hi, Brother Amin. How you doing today?
I'm all right. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Love and blessings to you and all the listeners. It's funny because everybody's giving all their stories, and I also happened just to um, run into Dr. Daryl Blair, and the way I ended up listening to both of you is through YouTube. I, like your last caller, binge watch YouTube because I was following Dr. Sabi at the time, and then he led me to you guys, to the Meta Center on Blog Talk. And it's funny because when I binge watched and then I started listening to Blog Talk, I think he mentioned something about YouTube, and he didn't like YouTube because people were just putting out his lectures. And I was like, man, how ironic, because if it wasn't for YouTube, I would have never, got introduced to the Meta Center and the knowledge YouTube know. So it's just funny how the universe has other plans for us. No matter how much of a master we are, it will do what it's going to do, and it's a prime example on how that works. Sometimes we try to resist it, but it will do what's best, right? For not only for us, but for the earth. And I just want to say that Dr. Blair's not gone; he's transmuted into you. You are now him, and you live with his energy and are now growing like him. So his energy has transmuted into you, and you are now growing like him. So to me, he's not gone; he's there, and he lives in you, just like he lives in his children and his family. Um, but it's just ironic how the universe has plans. So how you were talking about uh, how the odds of you meeting him and then you being his student and now becoming his representative, like a teacher. The universe also gives us teacher when we're ready. And all the great knowledge and all the great works talk about a teacher will appear when we're ready for one. You may not like it, you may like it, but one will appear whether you like it or not. And it's imperative that we learn from everything, whether it's a negative or a positive, right? And that's how we grow. We have to learn like children every day of our lives. And I'm sure we all, as listeners to the show, are in those positions either to lead or to have a leader lead us. And eventually you will lead. Each one teach one. And then each one of us will have people that will learn from you. And on it goes. But thank you, Mr. Amen. I appreciate your work, and I know Dr. Blair lives within you. His energy is in you. And much love to all the listeners. Love, happiness, knowledge, wisdom, and universal standing. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for sharing, Miguel. Okay. So, very interesting. Let us continue on. Who's next here? I see. What is your name?
Love Mish.
Okay, love. Okay, love Mish. We have love,
Yes.
y'all. Okay. All right. The
Hey
floor is yours.
everybody, my name is Jamisha and I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. And I thank you so very much. I'm doing a video. Tell her I'll be back, okay? Um, I'm sorry, I'm outside. My mom's doing the garden. I remember waking up in November 2016. I was working in corporate America. We're doing our annual HR protocols, and I finished early. And I asked, can I go home? There's nothing else to do. And they were like, no, you have to stay. So I began looking on YouTube, learning all about esoterics. And I remember coming across Dr. Deborah Blair. And I remember saying, getting upset, like, why am I just now waking up? And all of the greats, it just seemed like they were all passing away one by one. And I didn't get an opportunity to meet up or call in on the phone. To many of the teachers that I listened to. But now I'm listening to teachers that were once students of Dr. Deborah Blair. And I'm just so thankful that you've continued his legacy. So blessings to you. I would also like to say we usually don't get our flowers until we ascend. So as the students, let's continue to create for generations. Let's continue to create so that he can live on for generations to come. We have been handed the baton, and let's just keep the energy flowing, making our teacher proud. I love all the recordings and lectures because Dr. Blair was intelligent but also funny. He gave his life for us. It hurt me what happened to his wife. I was so sad when I learned that this master teacher was gone. Again, right before I woke up. But again, I'm so thankful to all of those who share and keep him alive. He helped me find my crown. Man, woman, and child was my favorite, specifically the woman. And I'm just eternally grateful. Thank you for allowing me to share.
There it is. And thank you for sharing. Okay. So, are there any others who would like to say whatever you would like to say before we get into the raffle? Okay. I do see I do see Chris, but there was a person from number 1176 who came in right before you. Okay, and then
Greetings, Tony.
one moment. So it goes 1176, then it will go Chris, and then it will go Jackie. Okay, go ahead, brother.
Hey, greetings, Tony. How are you? And one love to everybody on the line that's sharing the stories about Dr. Deborah Blair. My name is Timothy Suasui, and I'm calling from Georgia, Griffin, Georgia. I just wanted to just shoot my love and just send out my appreciations to you, Brother Tony, for all that you do. And I can't specifically remember exactly when I came across Dr. Deborah Blair's lecture or his teachings, but ever since I've done so, my mind's expanded and it's given me more like, let's say, I'm not crazy type of a thought, a knowing, because lots of things I've come across and have feelings about, and Deborah Blair really put it out there for me, and I'm very appreciative of him, and I just wanted to share that, and just be part of the collective right now as we give thanks to Dr. Deborah Blair on this day and every other day, because he's one heck of a gentleman, a nice man. And one thing about him that really gets me is he has his tone and the way he comes forth with his information is powerful. and calm, but stern and straightforward. You know, you can't pull the wool over Dr. Delbert Blair's eyes. You know, you can't. That's not going to happen. And that's what one of the many things that still to this day in 2022, where I'm still going back and getting in the archives of the lectures and going back and listening and reminding myself and just still learning, is that sternness, that he's straightforward and he knows what he's talking about. You know, so I'm very grateful, man. And there's plenty of teachers out there. And just not too long ago, I came across a lecture where he was with some another lady, and I can't remember the woman's name, but the background was like it was graffiti. They had some kind of throw up back there in green, and his conversation with her was wild. You know, like inspiring. And that's the one thing about Meta Center alone. It's very inspiring. And again, you, Brother Tony, for all that you do, you know, keeping it moving, not letting it just fade out as if nothing, you know, once was, now isn't. No, it's continuous. And there was a gentleman that was on the line that said it, man, straight up. Through you, man, Dr. Delbert Blair comes through all of us, you know, and again, just like you said, much accolades, Tony, you know, for putting in that work. But one love to everybody, and I'm grateful and thankful that you allowed me to get on the line and share. So that's all I wanted to say. Much blessings and love to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, brother. Do appreciate it. Okay, so the next person is Chris, and then it will go Jackie, and then Will.
Hey, peace, Tony. Peace to the Metaphysics family. Yeah, so it's Chris from Georgia. Just wanted to share my piece about how I met Dr. Delbert Blair. Well, actually, didn't get a chance to meet him. But a friend sent me a video on YouTube. I remember it was the Melanin Wars was the video, and when I remember watching it, and as I was listening to it, it was just resonating so much. And I was like, yes, this is it. This is it. And I continued on and was binge watching other videos. And I was searching and searching. I'm like, man, I want to meet Dr. Blair. I want to get in contact with the Meta Center. And then around that time, he had already passed. So I met you, Tony. And it was a journey from there. And from then on, I've been continuing on with the Meta Center, continue to patronize and go to the classes and the superhuman trainings. Definitely appreciate you, Tony, for carrying the baton and continuing on. And it's a beautiful thing. Like it's Meta Center. I was just looking through the website. Meta Center's been around since 1973, and it's been around the time when the civil rights movement was going on and all types of other things was going on. And Tony, you continue to push on and continue to make the Meta Center better and better. We definitely appreciate you for that. I appreciate you for that. My family appreciates you for that. It's a beautiful thing. Appreciate you, appreciate what you're doing, and give thanks to Dr. Delbert Blair. And thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. So let's see here. All right. And shout out to everybody who's present. This will go on YouTube later, just FYI. So if you wanted to just kind of go through it again, it will be up not too long after the call actually ends. So, all right. So we have Jackie. I believe you were next.
Yes, hello, greetings. I'm here in Atlanta, and I heard about Dr. Delbert Blair, and I think it was 2012 or 13. I was listening to some Bobby Hemmett lectures, and he repeatedly would mention Dr. Blair, and I said, "Oh gosh, I really have to, check him out and see what it's all about." And so that led me to my journey to listening to more and more and more of his lectures. And I was very fortunate one evening to call in and to ask him a question over the phone. So thank you, Tony, for, continuing on with the work. That's all I got. Thank you.
Well, all you got was enough. So thank you for sharing. Do appreciate it. So next one I think was Will, and then it's Maricela from that point. Okay, so go ahead, Will. Floor is yours.
Hey, what's up? Greetings, Tony. Greetings, y'all. So, my name's Will from Florida. Yeah, I found out about Dr. Blair, I think similar to a lot of people through YouTube, or the ones that found out about him through YouTube. And I remember just, kind of going down the Black consciousness rabbit hole and checking out, the different speakers that were out there that were on YouTube. And, yeah, I mean, some of them resonated, some of them didn't. But I remember just when I saw Dr. Blair, like his message and like his whole presence, and I think one of the things that struck out to me initially was just like he was wearing a suit, and I don't know why. I mean, it just stood out to me. I was like, a lot of them weren't wearing suits, and then the subject matter that he was talking about, UFOs, and he just seemed very knowledgeable about the different things, a wide range of topics, and he just really kind of stuck. And I just was watching his videos pretty much like every day at work, all day, just having it on loop and just going through the different YouTube channels and just trying to find as many videos as possible. And eventually that kind of led to the Meta Center, and the rest is pretty much history.
There it is.
Yeah.
It's good to have history and make history, is it not?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're all currently in our way. If you're pushing forward, you are making history, even though you might not be able to recognize it. Okay. So thank you for sharing, Will. And so just a FYI before we get to Maricela next, most people don't realize that when Dr. Blair really hit the scenes, let's just say he was doing, because we do have some old clips from back in the 70s. They're not in the best condition, but they are there. But when most people really start to see Dr. Blair and come to the scene would be, let's say, early 80s. Okay. At that point, Dr. Blair was pretty much low 50s. Okay. If you didn't know. And so or very upper 40s, 47, 48 in that range. So the reason why I'm mentioning that is just to say, of course, many of us, and based on the comments that have been shared, in the way many of the community look at Dr. Blair, he is what you can call a true elder. Okay. And that comes with time. It takes time for that. So some of you who, like, for example, when I met Dr. Blair, I was in my mid 20s. Okay. It's been quite a while from that point to now. Okay. Let's say even before, maybe like 25, 24-ish. That's when I met Dr. Blair. Okay. And I'm most definitely much older than that now. So as time goes on, no matter who's listening and where you're at, even if you are, let's say, a genius and you're doing all types of things, still in time, your own internal formula is becoming refined. So as time goes on, so don't, as mentioned many times on many calls, that as you do what you do and as you push forward the way you push forward, those who need to see will see. Okay, just keep pushing forward, keep striving for better in whatever you do. Okay, in time, right, those opportunities will be there for one to, I don't want to call it legacy, but to leave thought forms that can push things into a better space. Okay, because it's going to go two directions, better or worse. All right, so to lead things into a better space, right? Because in the end, that's what many people want. They want things to be better, right? And so for that to be better, just keep, again, pushing yourself forward and so forth. So I'm not going to keep going into that. So let's see here. Maricela, you were next. Are you still there?
Greetings, everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still here. I came across Dr. Blair right at the start of 2020. And I also binge watched all his videos. And what I gravitated to, pretty much everyone else that has spoken previously, the same thing. I just heard him speaking, and everything he said and the tone he say, the way he say it, it resonated with me. And what really got me was his famous saying, "There's no truth until you decide what truth is." So it wasn't like, other people where they're telling you. It felt like it was free information that he was trying to share. And that's one thing that I really, really appreciate about Dr. Blair. And of course, his meditation prayer, his daily meditation prayer, I carry that with me every day. I definitely feel his presence still through not only you, Tony, but obviously the Meta Center itself. And I'm very grateful for that, because you all are the catalysts for my spiritual growth on a daily basis. And I'm very grateful for you, Tony, and Dr. Blair and the Meta Center. So thank you.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is, and each person should find that truth out for his or herself.
All right. Thank you for sharing, Maricela. All right. So next here is Amira. Hopefully I pronounced your name right, correctly.
Yes, you are. Hi, it's Amira calling out of New Jersey. So, I was first introduced to Dr. Blair by a guy that I was dating at the time. I had asked him what was his race, and then he had mentioned something like, "Oh, it's only 3 races on this planet." And then I thought it was weird, but I listened to him, and then he had sent me a link to Blog Talk Radio, and that's where this was like in 2010. So that's where Dr. Blair was speaking, I guess, about the mankind and the human. So I thought it was interesting. He was really informative. So I kept listening to him, and I was still in high school at the time. So there was a time where I had to choose like an elective. So this is like art, drawing, whatever class. I took a contemporary issues with science class, and um, in that class we learned about GMOs. But I had already knew about it because I was listening to like Dr. Blair speak about it, and then it just made me like change, I guess, the way that I eat food and everything else. I went to his website, and at the time it was like a transmutation plaque or something, where like you put the food on there and it takes out all the toxins out of it. So I had a conversation with him on the phone, and my mom actually had a conversation with him on the phone as well. So he was excited to hear that I was so young, and I was listening to him. So from that day forward, I always would stay listening to his lectures and purchasing his products from his website. So yeah, and I'm still here to this day.
There it is, right? And,
Thank
and we're happy that you are here still to this day. I tell you what's deep, right? Many people, if you're hearing here, have been around since Blog Talk days, right? And that's when this is so. That's why even Daryl even mentioned it was so funny back then hearing him and I at times, because it'd be a little back and forth at times. It'd be all types of weirdness happening in the background, just very strange, right? And so you're talking about quite a few years ago. Okay, you're talking about 2008, even 2007 and 6. Okay, you're talking about quite a while ago, and you were called actually back then, even before even Blog Talk, it was actually another service we were using. I think it was called like Free Conference Call. Yeah, freeconferencecall.com, right? We were using that, and then I ended up finding at that time, it's when Blog Talk started to get really popular, or at least become more well known, whatever. And so I said, because I didn't like the interface of that free conference call. So, I think Blog Talk was better. So we ended up moving to Blog Talk, and the audience or the reach did increase at that point. And of course, people would tune in on Saturdays because our lecture days were Saturdays. And of course, it was also at the center itself. And people will all gather around, and it would be some topic that was within Dr. Blair's mind to speak on. And also there would be food, usually vegetarian food, and people will come from all around to share and to listen and to enjoy the company. So, so shout out to all you all who have been around since even way back then and who are still around today. Okay. So, next caller here is Yolanda, and then it's you, Ed. So Yolanda, okay.
Hi, Tony.
Greetings.
Hi, everyone. I'm calling from New Jersey. It's good to be a part of the call. My story is very brief. I actually didn't find out about Dr. Blair until it was actually almost a year to the date after he passed. And at the time, I was doing a lot of search regarding metaphysics and things because of some experiences that I was having. And one of the things that really stood out was, I think the one I opened on YouTube, was it YouTube? I think it was YouTube, was when he shared, as I guess they would call it in church, his testimony about actually meeting the gentleman. He was at a lecture, and he met a gentleman, and they introduced him to some other gentlemen that were from another place. And it just totally, it was like, oh no, it's a kindred spirit. And so anyway, from there, I just start trying to find everything I could find online, and I was trying to find where he was at. And eventually I found out that he was deceased. And I was so fortunate that I just kept plugging in Metacenter, and then I found out about Metacenter Chicago. I wasn't sure if you were affiliated initially, but as I continued looking through the website, I found that you were, and since then I've just been supporting it, and it's been a nice journey, because it's a group of people that I can listen to and speak with, where we have a like mindset, and it's very refreshing. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing what you have shared. All right. So we do appreciate it. Okay. So next.
Oh, and thank you, Tony. Sorry. Thank you for all you do. I wanted to say that too.
Oh, okay. Very welcome. Thank you. All right. So Ed, you are next here.
Hey, what's going on, Tony? What's up, family? How you doing? Calling from Baltimore. So I came across Dr. Blair, say 2011, 2012. I was going through some things in my life. I had a cousin from New York to come down to Maryland. This is when we was watching DVDs. So I started binge watching like just a whole bunch of different lectures of different elders or whatnot. Came across Dr. Blair, and it just hit me like everything that he said, every word, everything that he was saying just was resonating with me like like no other. He used to say the prayer often. Before then, I can tell you I never prayed a day in my life. And from that day forth, I've been praying ever since. Changed my life, changed my world. My son at that time had seizures, started having seizures. So one day I got on the phone with Dr. Blair. We talked for like hours, and he basically kind of coached me through like healing my son, literally coach me through it. You know, he used to talk about how people used to steal his, you know, things and put it on YouTube. And then we had a discussion. I said, well, I came across you discovering that. And then he kind of understood. He said, yeah, you know, you're right. You know, that is, you know, you're right. But I just wanted to say that this has been a blessing for me and many others. Like, this is like, I know we're not blood, but you are more family. You guys are more family than some of my relatives. And I definitely appreciate everything that Dr. Blair, you, Tony, has brought into my life, made my world a better place, and my family and my children. And I want to thank you. And for the family that's on this call, I want to appreciate you, all you guys.
There it is. Thank you for sharing, Ed. Yeah. And so, and of course, there's many people who have not said anything who, again, resonate. They know exactly the feeling. We all are on the same page with that. And it's absolutely wonderful and heartfelt. I'm really enjoying today's call. It was needed. So, is that it for now? We're going to get into a raffle next. So is that it for now? Or is it, so we'll do a last go round. If anyone has anything to say, unmute your phone and just come on in. First come, first go.
Okay, I'll go ahead.
Okay, Maurice has the floor.
So earlier, when the phone magically unmuted itself, I was actually like thinking carefully about what I should say. Because I first met Dr. Blair just it was a big transition in my life. I was losing a lot of respect for a lot of the elders in my life, specifically the men in my life. I was deciding what kind of person I wanted to be moving forward with the kind of family, community, with all the options in the world of things that I could study, travel, and I was partaking in marijuana a lot. And a friend of mine, we didn't want to just sit around and just smoke all the time, so we started finding events online, and he sent me an event link for the Meta Center. I clicked on it, exited out. I didn't really think anything of it. And then an ad popped up on Instagram, and then that's how I found the superhuman classes. Yeah, it's been a journey. I think at that time I was looking a lot into quantum physics and studying parenthood. I had a child on the way. I was also like doing deep studies on the relationships between men and women. And I guess the information seemed so all over the place, but deep within, I felt like everything needed to be one or needed to come together. And I just feel like after I got in contact with the Meta Center and started to watch Dr. Delbert Blair's videos and Bobby Hemmett's videos, and a few others, everything started to just come together. I was also reading about the holographic universe, and for a while I felt like I was being blocked off from a part of life. Like, I don't know if I had reached the limits of my environment and I needed to break through, but I knew I needed to do a huge shift and a paradigm shift, so to speak. And yeah, it's just been an interesting journey. I can't believe how many superhuman classes I've gone to, how many projects I've done with other people in the family, and just how much I've been able to accomplish. I've just been really vulnerable and emotional lately, so I was a little nervous about coming on to speak too. But yeah, I'm here. I'm glad that I met Dr. Blair, Tony, the rest of the family, just even metaphysical knowledge itself, and finding a better understanding of what the universal creator is and how I'm connected to how everything else is. yeah, it's been beautiful. I feel like crying right now, but I'm not. I'm gonna do that. All right.
Well, first off, thank you for sharing, Maurice. And it's okay to be vulnerable, especially if it's within a space that understands and respects that vulnerability. So it's okay to be vulnerable. Maurice has been a part of many, many journeys with us, going on years. He mentioned experiments we've done, right? We do some very strange and out there experiments behind the scenes, and it's not for the faint of heart at times, right? It takes one to kind of be at a certain level to even do it, because it may put you in front of people in an uncomfortable way, and he has done that as well. So shout out to all of you all who are pushing forward. So that's what's up, and thank you for sharing again, Maurice. So
Can I say one more thing?
oh yeah, go ahead.
Uh, Another thing that I was looking into too, because I was losing a lot of respect for the guys around me and the way that they were operating. I was trying to find a way to life hack manhood and masculinity. And it was almost like Dr. Blair just appeared as like this great, 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 great grandfather to just, oh, here you go. This, this is how you can create your own lane, regardless of other guys that's around you, the people that's around you. Yeah, and you are man too. It was like a confirmation. I was like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, because of the effeminization of newer generations of males, I was feeling like I was under a lot of pressure to really make an example, not only for the children around me, but peers and older males, and creating a breakthrough or something that people could see, or stepping into the light or shining the light. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Whew, you guys do it, right? Woo! Woo! All right. Oh, that's okay. All right. We got to sit down a little bit, wipe the forehead. It's sweating a little bit, you know? All right. All right. Yeah. So I appreciate everybody sharing today. All right, so all right. Has anyone else here have any comments? So okay, I do see Skylar. Okay, the floor is yours.
All right. Greetings, Tony and the rest of the Meta Center family. I'm calling in from New Jersey. I first came across Dr. Blair while I was in New Hampshire. And man, so before Dr. Blair, let me say this before I start. So Tony did mention how there's a lot of leaders that come out of Chicago that people just don't know about. So before I binge watched Dr. Blair, I was binge watching Dick Gregory. And Dick Gregory attributes like his entire legacy to a woman called Alvina Fulton, and she comes out of Chicago. She had taught him how to fast and all this other stuff. But anyway, I think for me, one of my favorite things about Dr. Blair is his prayer. So I'm going to say it real quick. So please, universal creator, know in my heart that I love you. Please protect me and this planet on which I live now. Please open my mind, my spirit, and my soul to receive only truth and your love now. And the last piece that I'm going to say is when I had made that rap for Tony, before he played it, he said, I don't know what inspired Sky to make the rap. And on a previous podcast, Tony once said how the reason why they have contracts nowadays and like things where people have to sign off stuff is because people aren't like honest, people don't keep their word. So it wasn't really inspiration for me. It was just a level of respect that I have for Tony. Because as he mentioned at the beginning of this open lines, was that since the day that he met Dr. Blair, he told him that he was going to be there for him. And he kept his word, So, just out of the respect of that, someone keeping their word and still to this day continue on the legacy, Man, you gotta make the brother a song or something. You know what I'm saying? So, that's all I gotta say. All love to Dr. Blair. I think we all have, a similar resonance as to why we're all here right now in this moment. So let's continue the positive thought forms, and that's it.
All right. Appreciate that, Skylar. Appreciate that. And I see you pay attention to some of the things that are being stated, like that specifically what you said. I hope that the actual on those different podcasts and things, when people who come across it, actually hear those things, because those are besides the talk about, let's say, aliens or whatever. That those are key points that if more people really under, enter, and overstood, overall, all of our existences would be better. Okay, it wouldn't be as much pain. Okay, throughout our lives. So, okay, so is there anyone else at this moment before we get into the raffle? I think I see 7190.
Yes, yes. It is Shy. I am calling from the south side of Chicago.
Speak up a little bit, Si. Speak up.
Wait a minute. All right, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Continue to talk. Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's Shy. I'm calling from the south side of Chicago, Dr. Blair's hometown. I heard that him and Sam Cooke lived in the same neighborhood or something, or was cool or something. But anyway, I used to spit the poetry at the podcast. I was honored to actually spit poetry for Doc on his podcast, which is a really big highlight for me. You know what I'm saying? And I want to say this. I told Brother Tony about this. Dr. Blair was a poet. He loved poetry. If you look at a lot of his videos, you will see him do poetry at the end of a lot of his lectures. So I applied for a grant here in Chicago for poetry recent. And I call on everybody when it's time for me to push for things that matter. So to make a long story short, before I even applied, after I applied, I had a dream. After I put in the application, I had a dream. And this dream, Dr. Blair peeled me off some money. I went to the window. You know how brothers are. I went to the window and held it up to the sun to make sure it was real. And he kind of smirked. In the dream, when the dream was happening, I knew it was him. I knew it was him. It was that glare in his eye. I call it the glare. I did poetry about it. And when I went over to the window to pull it up to the sun, he kind of, you know what I'm saying? He kind of smirked like, but to make a long story short, I won that grant. You know what I'm saying? The most important thing that he has taught me is concentrated thought. Concentrated thought supersedes everything. Concentrated thought changes. What it has done for me is it's changed my perception. You know what I'm saying? The way that I would interact changed, which saves at least my life. Here in Chicago, you are surrounded by the most lowest frequencies that you could imagine. If you're in the city, I know all of the major cities are like that, but Chicago is different. You know what I'm saying? You got low frequencies coming from elders here, for whatever reason. Now, if I didn't have this perception change that's due to concentrated thought, I would have reacted different to many situations. And I would probably be dead. And it is the reason why they are dying here. because of the lack of information on how to control your own mind and your own interaction. Couple that off with all of the substantial knowledge about the ancient past, the health. I'm waiting on diodes now to put on this hot ass phone that I'm holding, these bracelets I have on, these magnetic cuffs, all of this stuff. Astounding, life-changing information. You know what I'm saying? And it is practical. You know, it's not something that I listen to make me feel good and to, you know what I'm saying, to be proud of. I take these concepts and they are actually interlinked into my life. You know what I'm saying? The health bits, all of it. You know, we're not perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm not vegan. You know what I'm saying? Or any of that. But I know how to go in to myself now and to pour out whatever I need. So now it's like I'm just like a grand observer. You know what I'm saying? It's no need for me to interact as much. You know what I'm saying? With outside of myself. Not right now, at least not for me. You know what I mean? Everything, when you say everything you want, you can find it within. It's not mumbo jumbo at all. And Dr. Blair told me that mumbo jumbo is a god. And it is. And I did the research and found out all the particulars of this god. And I was able to use that information to repair a social situation that I was in. And it worked immediately. You know, so this is some really, really beneficial information. And it is life changing. You know what I mean? I got a chance to meet him. I got a chance to meet to meet Brother Tony. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful brother. You know, it was awesome. And I was able to ask Brother Tony, could I put that on my resume that I was a poet on the at the Meta Center? And it is what made my resume pop, and that's why I was chosen. And I'm not going to stay on too much longer. I appreciate everything. I didn't know that today was his birthday. It's the day before Valentine's Day. That's a really special day. You know, out of all of the pagan holidays, the Valentine's Day is one that I really do like. You know, and peace and blessings to everyone. And I know that he can hear us. If anybody can hear us, it's him. So, Creator bless everyone. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for sharing, Sai. So just for clarity, I want to make sure people know, for those who are listening, many people help out the Meta Center in some form of fashion or interact with the Meta Center publicly and privately from all across the world. Okay. Many of the products that you purchase in the Meta Center, yes, we make many of the products directly for integrity's sake, like the herbs and stuff like that. We try to also source directly from small farms. That's why at times they're out of stock, because we're not going to sell you BS. Okay. We're not going to sell you fake GMO things just to make a profit. So that means we make less money, but you get the bona fide product. But with that, Sai, this is going back some years ago, on podcasts, he asked, could he say his poetry, right? And he would come on with what inspired him in poetry, and these are his custom creations, and he would say his verses. And so that went on for quite a while. Okay. And this is going back some years ago. And for those who were part of the different blog talks and things of that nature back then, you do know of that. So one day Sai had contacted and said that he's applying for a grant, and this so forth. And can he put that he used to do poetry for us and everything else on it? And again, it's not the first time we ever got a request like that from people who actually interact with us. And so I said, after asking some questions and things of that nature, I wanted him to send me something specific, and he did. And I looked over and I said, okay, it's fine. Okay. And he did. And as he mentioned, that he did get the grant. And he mentioned himself that is what the acknowledgement from the Meta Center on there is what made it pop. Okay. So We don't say everything. Let's see, this is went on. This he had that now for maybe a month now or something like that. Maybe give or take a little bit of days. So there are many things that are going behind the scene, good things like that we do not talk about at all. Okay, it happens. It happens quite frequently. Okay, so but it's up to you to participate. It's up to you to put forth your positive thought forms and none of that weirdo stuff, right? Of course, and in that, even if it takes a lot of your effort, it will be a learning experience. Okay, whether you learn a new skill, okay, many of you know many of the different classes we have going on, whether you learn um, a new way of thinking or a new way to persevere, okay, or if it's more direct where you're actually physically working for us, okay. So I just wanted to say that and thank you for bringing that up, Sai. That is very appreciated, and I'm sure those in the future will also appreciate that, right? So because the good thing about he was doing it for years. That goes back years ago. Who would have thought that one day he would apply for a grant, whether he needed it or not, right? He would apply for it, and because of that, he would get it. He was just doing this poetry just from his heart. Okay, so just throw it out there. So with that, again, thank you very much, Sai. And so, is there anyone else, any other anything anybody else would like to say before we get into our raffle? If so, you could
I
unmute.
want to say one more thing.
Okay, go ahead, Daryl.
I just wanted to say you for reminding me how I found Dr. Blair because I cannot remember, but it was on the free conference calls first, and then we went to Blog Talk Radio. I can't believe that was that long ago. I can't believe Brother Miguel. So good hearing your voice, man. So good, Brother Sai. I can still hear your poems like yesterday. I appreciate y'all, man. You vibration high and much love. And y'all know that was the last thing about the diode. The sister called in about the diode. That was another confirmation for me and Dr. Blair because at the time I was working at this job called Diode Fab Tech. And what we did there, I was working on the maintenance. I didn't make the diodes. I was working on the maintenance team. I worked in the clean room, cleaning all the chemical bottles and air tanks that they use to make these diodes with. And they are real deal. They use chemicals, air gases, and all types of stuff that you wouldn't believe to make up these diodes onto a plat and chop them up to these little bitty small micro computer chips and put and set out. You know, and that was the last confirmation for me that I knew that I was at the right place. So I just going off with that. What Dr. Blair was talking about, I was actually working at the job. I don't know why that talk like that, but I appreciate it and much love.
Okay, yes, all types of frequencies coming through. like what's going on? Yeah, but most definitely appreciate your extra info there. So so yeah, so with that, like I said, many people on the call, let's think about it. Some of you all were teenagers when we all first got acquainted with each other's voices, you know. And now people are in their 30s and 40s and 50s. You know, we're going to be talking about going back damn almost like 20 years. You know what I'm saying? We're like, what? Time is an illusion, you know, because this is out the box. So anyhow, with that, Maricela said in the chat room, beautiful memories and talks. Most definitely beautiful memories. That's why as I was thinking over a month ago, how to go about Dr. Blair's born day remembrance, it ended up being like this, and it's very much worth it. I'm really enjoying just people's thought forms. So, all right, is anyone else? Is it anyone else right now?
I just wanted to thank you for having this today and allowing.
Looks like we have Black's person. Okay, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I'm just jumping in real quick to say thank you, brother, for having this today. You guys had a community around Dr. Blair. I wasn't fortunate enough to be a part of this over the years, but it is a pleasure to be here now and look at the love that you guys have for the brother, and that you essentially kept up and kept cultivating. And it's nice to see. It's really nice to see. And I just wanted to say thank you for that. And two, there was another person that brought up the Adamski lecture today. So I'll take that as another great parting shot. Thanks again, bro.
Very welcome. Thank you. So that looks like it. After the raffle, I would just do one more go around just to see. So what is the raffle going to be for today? Okay. There's going to be two winners. Okay. Two winners. The first winner will get and pretty much it's just going to be who I'm going to try to narrow this down by questions and to see who just ends up last. Okay. That's left in here. Okay. So the first main winner will get the Dr. Blair book collection, which is at this time, there's more that I'm about to put out soon. It's just only so much time in a day, and there's so many things we're doing behind the scenes, but it's the World Within, Man, Woman, and Child, and his extraterrestrial experience. So a winner will get those 3 books. Okay. The second winner will get a pick of one of his audios within the his collection on the website. All right. So yeah. So that's just that. So you know what the winnings are. We're about to begin here in a moment. So here are the rules for it. Okay. Because you're going to follow the rules or you're going to be automatically disqualified. Right. Since it's 31 people on right now, as I'm speaking, I want to make sure, because it could take us a while. I have to write down the names that are winning and stuff like that, right? So we're going to narrow this down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the Jeopardy sound. For example, I'm going to do it now. The Jeopardy sound, it lasts 7 seconds. Yeah, 7 seconds. So within that 7 seconds, you have to answer the question. If you answer, so just to respect the rules, if you hear that music go off, because this is in real time, we can all hear in real time. It's not like it's YouTube where there is an audio delay. When you hear that music stop, if you haven't typed it out or hit enter, just stop. All right. If you come in after the fact, you automatically are disqualified anyway. So there's no point of even doing it at that point. So this is making it, putting a little bit of edge on it, right? Sharpening it a little bit, right? So we can kind of narrow it down kind of quick, because otherwise we'll be here all day trying to get people out, because many of you are very astute. So what else here? Let's see here in rules. Oh yeah, okay. So obviously this will only really work for those that are let's see, I see Miguel drawing on the screen there. I was wondering, what is that? What are those lines coming up? All right. So anyhow, you really have to be on Zoom, okay? Because you have to send a message to me directly. You are unable to do this if you're on the phone, unfortunately. So if you're on Zoom, you already right now want to open up the chat box and you want to click on my name in the chat box, which I believe is host, okay? And so, and when you do that, you should see the red box or like a red message says direct messaging, and it shows who you're direct messaging, which is me. Okay. If you mistakenly put the answer in the public message, you will automatically be disqualified. Okay. So you have to send the private message directly to me so I can see. So mainly at this time, that will be the rules. Again, send a message directly to me. And when the music stops, you have to have sent it. If you did not, don't do it. All right. So get ready. I should have had that theme music from that one game show that used to come on and be like, you know, as we begin. So, all right, I'm getting my pen and paper ready. Are you all ready? Let the anticipation build. All right.
Singular, now is your chance. Show them your power.
All right. I guess some of you are going to be showing me your power. All right. So here we go. First question. I will say the question first and then play the music. This one should be a bit of an easier one. What is the title of the video or the book that goes into the metaphysics of the family structure? Stop. Okay, that's it. That's it. Okay, don't say any more. That's it. All right. Okay. Person who just sent it through, yeah, you're disqualified. That's it. Don't send anything through. That person's laughing because they know. Hey, so you were slow to type you were slow to type it out, brother. You were slow, but it's cool. Do appreciate you did get it right. Let me say that though. You did get the answer right, but it was after the music. All right. So okay, so let me write these names down. So we did it good this time. Okay, because it narrowed it down. I'm sure many of you also here was going to send in the answer, but the music cut off, right? And it would have been tons of people, all right? So this did narrow it down by making it have to be this quick. So let me write down the names here. Give me one moment. Now, these next questions should only be for those that, and I'm going to say your names, okay? For those who got it correct, the next questions are now for only you all, okay? So for those who are listening, don't answer because it just makes it have to write down and kind of go through all the names and stuff. So this is for those who are left. And so Mira, you got it correct. Maricela, Skylar, Candace, Randy, Maurice, and Will, you were right on the cusp. I mean, literally. So be careful. Be careful. So, all right. So, okay. So the answer. So one person, Love Niche, she asked, "Can we know the answer?" Yeah, you can know the answer. It was the book, Man, Woman, and Child. Okay. So Man, Woman, and Child was the answer to that, which is also, of course, a lecture series. Okay. So again, those who can only answer the questions are Amira, Maricela, Skylar, Candace, Randy, Maurice, and Will. So next question, here we go. Let's see here.
Look what I can do.
All right, let's see what you can do. Okay, here we go. Here's the question. Get ready, y'all. Them fingers burning in anticipation. All right. What did Dr. Blair call those who are the enemies or adversaries of humanity? He had a term for it. What was that name? Okay, that's it. Don't send it. Don't send it. If you send it now, you automatically disqualified. Okay, so Randy, you got it correct. Skylar, Maricela, and Amira, you all said the same thing. Dracons, okay, which is also correct. He said draconians, okay, but same thing. All right. One person said muwa. Muwa is the term that I created for those for people, okay, for a type of person who has draconian antics, but they are a person. Okay, that's the muwa. All right. So again, let's see here, Schuyler. Okay, Mira, Maricela, Schuyler. Okay, so it narrowed it down. So we're down to 4. Okay, that is, it's going to get difficult, you all. So we're going to see here. Okay, so we got Amira, Maricela, Schuyler, and Randy. Okay, those are 4 going into question 3. Again, the answer for question 2 was draconians. Okay, know the difference between them. Okay, can a person be a draconian? Yes, a person can be a draconian. A draconian is typically, though, is the description or the idea, the mindset or the mannerisms that are from those who are the upright walking lizards, right? So those are from Draconis, right? So those are draconians. Now, can people, again, they can be draconian, okay? But typically, there's a certain when a person is draconian, there's a certain let's just say pestilence or disease that builds up within the physical person, because they're not meant to people are not meant to hold that type of negativity or evil, right? And so it creates a pestilence. Okay, this pestilence spreads. The people who are infected by this pestilence, we call them the muwa. Okay, muwa. Okay, they are the muwa. So if you want to learn more about that, it's a book on the website. Again, all the books are very reasonably cost. I think it's like $9.95. It's on the website. It's called Muwa, MUWA. All right. So next question here. Okay. Next question here. Let's see if you all going to get this one. Here's the question. And I may give clarity on the question as well. Okay. I'm going to make sure that I don't want to make it too difficult. Other than Illinois, what other city or state, if you name the state, is fine, or it could be the city, did Dr. Blair travel to and do lectures at a lot, specifically during the 80s and 90s? During the 80s and 90s, Dr. Blair spent a lot of time in a certain city, okay? He went there all the time throughout his travels. In many of his lectures, he is there. What city, or you could say the state, would that be? Okay. All 3 of you got that correct. For those who are listening, okay. So those who got this correct is Maricela, Amira, and Randy. And the answer to that is Atlanta. Okay, Dr. Blair spent a lot of time in Atlanta, in and around Atlanta. Yes, he went to the East Coast. He went to the West Coast. Obviously, his home base is the Chicago, Illinois area, but he spent a lot of time in Atlanta. Okay, I'm actually gonna be doing some things in Atlanta soon, just so you all know, even as well. So let's see here. All right, so question number 4. Okay, so this is for Amira, Maricela, and Randy. I don't know why I'm putting the R on your name, Marcella. Very strange. All right, so here we go here. All right, so question number 4. Question number 4 is, in many of Dr. Blair's lectures, he spoke about a product. Wait. Let me mention this real quick first. On the last call, on the last question, I didn't do the music. I don't think I did the music on the last question. Okay, but it was so quick. Everybody answered so quickly, it was no need to even do it. Okay, so I'm going to do the music this time. What product did Dr. Blair talk about the most for the pineal gland? Okay, that was a little bit easier one. All three of you got that correct, and that's monatomic gold. Okay, so the next question here. Okay, this one may be a little more difficult. You would had to really pay attention to the different, especially specifically the podcasts, not necessarily the lectures. He didn't really say it too much in the lectures, but his podcasts and or those who knew him directly would maybe mention this. So this may be a little difficult. The question 5 is, what was one of Dr. Blair's favorite activities to go out and do? Okay, all right. So we got a winner. Okay, we have a winner. All right. Okay, so one of Dr. Blair's favorite activities to do, which you might not have known, for those who are listening, was to dance. Dr. Blair really liked to dance. I personally found it absolutely hilarious. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's Dr. Blair, right? The Grand Master, right? And so when you see Dr. Blair, you look at him because of the level we do put him on and stuff like that, right? And I don't know, you should expect, again, this is us, ourselves as the observer of that person. Expect just we're not talking about, people have fun and stuff, right? And do things. But I just didn't expect Dr. Blair to like dancing as much as he did, all right? And we even have footage of him dancing and so on and so forth, right? So I just personally found it absolutely hilarious. Every time he mentioned how he wants to go out and dance, which he mentioned it a lot. Okay. And so yes, Chuck there says Sosa to be exact, right? So he likes to do all type of things. Black's person said hilarious. It is hilarious. It very much was hilarious, especially if you were there with him and he would talk about dancing and he would start moving a little bit and stuff. I don't know. It kind of distorted the reality within that space a little bit, and I couldn't help it but always bust up laughing. You understand? As many of you do know, I have mentioned from time to time, our relationship wasn't like, even from the first day, it wasn't really. Yes, I asked him certain questions, stuff like that, but a lot of times, if you should be more of a listener than a questioner. People that just go and bombard people with questions and things. What if the teacher, the master teacher, the grand master is about to say something to you that would change your whole reality and what you really came there for, but the person can't even get it out because you just keep bombarding them with questions. You understand? So our relationship wasn't really that kind of thing, and more so we were, even from the beginning, we were just kind of, I would ask him anything he needs, and I kind of just sit around him a lot of times, you know what I'm saying? And we may say something and it may lead to a conversation about something, and he may start talking about something, whatever. And this is how it was, okay? But nevertheless, uh, when he would mention those things, it just be, I can't even imagine, I'm putting myself in that space again, and I don't know why it was so hilarious, but I would just bust up laughing, every single time. It's so stupid. So anyhow, Randy has said the highest knowledge of exchange is unutterable. So this is the thing. What? Okay, so now I'm thinking about it. So we did two over the last 2 weeks or so. We did 2 raffles. And at this point, Randy has won both of them. Randy, you have been paying a lot of attention, my brother, and you have run first. The raffle from 2 weeks ago was a dream journal. We created our own dream journal, which is scientific in nature. He won the dream journal, and he won the dreaming salve. Okay, the salve you rub at the bottom of your feet. You can rub it on other parts of the body as well. It has high amounts of lavender in it and stuff like that. So you have the benefits of lavender of soothing the skin, soothing burns, and all that other types of stuff. Okay, but it was created for dreaming mainly, right? So you could rub at the bottom of your feet before sleep, and you'll find your dreams to be absolutely out the box, right? And he also won again the book, the Dream Journal book, the Traveler's Dream Journal, which he can write down his findings as he awakes in the morning. So he won that pretty much a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Now he also won this. Okay, so very interesting, Randy. Very interesting. Okay, so he won. Now, question, Randy. So this is the thing, Randy. If you already have, I know you do purchase a lot. So if you already have those books, unless you may want to give it back, this is a question here. Since you do have you may have those books already. If you do, and you still want them, they're yours. If you rather, because whatever you may do, that's your personal business. Or would you rather have a pick in the audio collection?
I actually don't have those books.
Oh, you don't?
No, I have the lectures, but I don't have the books.
Okay, cool. Okay, so they'll be on the way to you.
I definitely would appreciate those.
There it is. Let me write this down. Okay, so this is gonna be another question for Maricela and Amira, and this will be for the a pick of something in the audio collection area of Dr. Delbert Blair. So get ready. Get ready here. So this is for Maricela and Amira only. Question. For pretty much most of the medicinal lectures and conversations that took place past the year 2000, it was in a certain city. What was the name? And this is in Illinois. What was the name of that city? Okay, both of you all, the city name was Oaklawn. Okay, Oaklawn. But you both did not get that answer. So let's try one more time here. Okay, one more time. Okay. Which one do I want to say here? Just bear with me for one moment here. Okay, you could do a roundabout here. Around what age was Dr. Blair when he ascended? Okay, the age was about 81, and Amira looked like she was closer. Okay. Yeah, Amira was closer by 1. Okay. That's the thing about the Meta Center audience. You all are so astute that so Amira did win. She did 83 and Maricela did 78. So she was closer by 1. Okay. But it's very difficult to do these questions, especially if they surround core things that we do, because many of you all pay attention to the core things that we do. So, you know what I'm saying? So it is most definitely appreciated, but I'm going to have to kind of shake it up a bit and think about, because, I like when we do raffles and things. Okay. So, Amira, just let me know. You could give us a call or you can send us an email and let us know. Go to the Dr. Delbert Blair category on the website. For those else who are listening, who want to know the different materials available, there's audios available that are not on YouTube at all, period. And we most definitely appreciate if you don't put those on YouTube for sure, because those are the ones, and we do keep track of that, because even though there's videos even on our YouTube that are just out there, and we even put them out there because they were already out there anyway, these are for your personal study, okay? And of course, it allows people to come to us. You know what I'm saying? If you appreciate what we do, then it allows people to come to us, okay? So just respect that there. But if you go to the website, you click on shop. Okay, I'm going to put the website in the chat room, but the website is metacenterchicago.com. Okay, so metacenterchicago.com. And if you go to the website, click on shop, you'll see many different categories of products. Okay, we even have new CBD products now. These are ones that we tested personally. And we actually did little trials and everything else that actually do help with pain relief and calming and relaxation, and actually do help with those who lack energy. Specifically, they're geared toward those who have heavy issues going on, like cancer, AIDS, and stuff like that. Okay, they did help them with energy. They did help them with pain relief. Okay, those are available now on the website. They come in honey. Okay, honey infused. They come in a salve as well that you can rub on your body, and they also come in the flower. Okay, so I'm about to post it here in the chat room there. So I'm posting the website there. So if you click on shop, so if you click on shop, then you'll be and then click on the category that you would like. But click on the Dr. Dilbert Blair category. I'm sorry, y'all, I'm reading comments too. Okay, you click on the Dr. Dilbert Blair category, and you will see all the things that we offer that are specifically created or inspired by Dr. Dilbert Blair. And you could choose the stuff you may want there if that's the case. We do appreciate it, even if you did not win today. So when you do that, Amira, just let us know. All right, and it'll be sent to you through digital means. Other than that, is there anything else anyone would like to say at this time before we end today's call? We actually went much longer than I thought. So anything anyone like to say here before we end today's call? I do see you there, Chuck.
Yeah, Tony, I wanted to, I was out running, so I mean, couldn't talk. But, as far as speaking on Dr. Delbert Blair and what he meant to me, I really started searching over 10 years ago. And I did something simple. I just Googled who I am. And then here I am today. It gave me a lot of sense for knowing to be able to really dig deep within myself to understand the physical body and understand how the physical body connects with the earth and the universe, and to be able to go within myself and to be able to manifest and call on certain energies when you need it, and just how to navigate through this matrix. It's a beautiful journey, and by being connected with a medicine and family that I've gained within the medicine have also helped me through this journey. I just want to take the time to acknowledge Dr. Double Blair on this day, and you as well, Tony. Thank you.
There it is. Thank you. All right, everyone. Is there anything else?
Yeah, Tony, quick question. Well,
Okay.
first, I just want to thank you. This is Andrew, by the way. I just wanted to thank you for everything that you've done, not only on the spiritual side, but also the health side. As I forgot one of the gentlemen, he said his name was Sai. He talked about how the diodes and how they really work. I just wanted to add on, not only the diodes, but the herbs too. I didn't realize the power that they hold for health. And I just want to thank you for that. And I also had a question. I wanted to know if the herbs, will they be available for purchase during the superhuman training session in person, or any products at all?
Okay. So what Drew said, for those who, it was a bit of background interference. What he was mentioning there was that he appreciates the health information that's available. He was part of our herbology course. So we in level 2 of the herbology course now. And then he asks, we have an event coming up in Chicago in March. Okay, it's March 12th, which is a Saturday. It's all day long, and so we're going to be getting into lots of experiments and information you're not going to find anywhere else as usual. It's not a superhuman class, though. Okay, it's not a superhuman class that dealt with the individual and esoteric things with the individual. Okay, this is more the external world, and we're gonna be doing experiments live, and everything else is gonna be very out the box. Okay, and so he asks, is there going to be any products available? Yes, there's going to be products available. Also, 2 vendors are also going to be there selling things. So you'll get an email about that soon. I'm going to plan on sending that email sometime in the next, maybe today, tomorrow, next day, to everyone who's coming to the event. So the CBD products will be there, for example, the diodes, of course, and many other products. The 2 vendors, one sells more skincare related things, and the other vendor sells more organ related things. Okay, so they will also be there as well. So, but you'll get that information in email soon.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, Twan, you want to say something? Antoine, your phone says it's unmuted, but we don't hear you. So, did you want to say anything?
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can't hear you.
Okay, yes. I just want to say, yes, thank you, Tony, for today for setting this up. But I really want to say thanks to Deborah Blair, and just like Chuck was saying, he was a great teacher. I never met him in person. I really did want to meet him in person, but just from what I got from him from his videos, I learned a lot. He directed me in a lot of metaphysical ways. He made me question myself, question my reality around me. And he sparked a lot of interest in me to go further into like looking at the world within myself, looking at myself, extraterrestrials. Like the gentleman said, when I first learned about the medicine, I went to the website and I was amazed by the products he had. Like the products he had was just phenomenal. I was literally on the website before I purchased anything for hours, just going down the product list, reading products, and I was amazed like how much time he actually put into this for the community, and that spoke a lot. So just to cut it short, just give it thanks and paying my homage to Dr. David Blair. And it's funny because he ended like right before I got the chance to meet him. He ended up passing away, unfortunately. And then, but I'm still grateful because through the energy he put out, I was able to link up with the medicine and meet up with Tony, and that has been much contribute to my spiritual journey. So I give thanks to Del Blair, to yourself, Tony, and the medicine family as well.
There it is. There it is. Yeah. So there it is. So, all right. Okay, so is that all, everyone? Is that all? Is anything else? Do the countdown. Hey, Miguel, you might as well just come on verbally. You can come on verbally because it is what it is, and just say what you would like to do, and if you don't mind, and then we talked here, spoken about. Okay. So, okay. So if you don't hear me, if you're not there, then it is what it is. Okay. So, all right. So, anyhow, appreciate everyone tuning in today. What's going to happen at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is 7 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 4 p.m. Pacific Time. We will be having meditation tonight. So, which would be, again, the next pretty much hour and 45 minutes on YouTube. By that time, maybe this will be up by then, since I don't have to do any editing or anything like that, because cut out the beginning music and that's it. It's up. So this will be up shortly as well. So appreciate everyone tuning in. Appreciate everyone's interaction today with the raffle and all that good stuff. Keep pushing your thought forms forward. Keep moving forward, just in that positive, uplifting energy within yourself. And we will talk soon. Have a good rest of your day today and take care.
This enchanted love of ours.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is, and each person should find that truth out for his or herself.
Know what? Global family, look in the mirror. I want you to take a good look. You are the champion, the hero of your story. No matter how much praise you may give some of us who may help you on this journey, it is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Tony, again, I give you accolades for, I don't even know what to say, for all the efforts, man, that you put in my behalf.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is.
It is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Person should find that truth out for his or herself.
To help you see.
For his or herself.